Hi, this is Jean Bedourde with the final lecture for this class in online searching. I'll be reviewing what we've learned this semester, then touching on some additional topics. First, let's take a look at what you've mastered this semester. One of the sayings in the library world is that librarians like to search, but information seekers want to find answers. Those answers are going to come from different sources depending on the question. Scholarly information in the area of science, engineering, technology, and medicine, also called STEM, are found in Dialogue and the Web of Science. Dialogue also has some business and trade publications. However, news and business information, particularly company financials, will be found on LexisNexis and the open web. Though not as reliable, there is a wealth of information on the open web, including the many Google properties such as Google Scholar and Google News, and even Google Books. Then there is the deep web, with many authoritative websites which are not indexed in Google. Many times these websites are not obvious, but they can be a gold mine for the information seeker. One of the challenges to the information professional is that each of these sources have a different structure and user interface. However, the same tools can be used, just different syntax. We started out applying these search tools using ProQuest Dialog. For teaching purposes, the Dialog search syntax clearly demonstrates how these different tools can be utilized. They aren't as obvious in the other search engines. Each service utilizes these tools in different ways. Boolean logic may be either explicitly stated or may be implied when using search boxes. Truncation, particularly for proper names, is a basic tool, since the format of author names varies by publication. Controlled vocabulary is quite important on ProQuest Dialog, but not as useful in LexisNexis. On the other hand, proximity operators are quite useful for searching full text on LexisNexis. Field searching is a fundamental tool for finding results. Limits and filters are universal, though the interfaces are different. Left-hand side for LexisNexis, right-hand side for ProQuest Dialog, top of the page for Google. These commands are only part of your toolbox. Pearl growing is a fundamental strategy. First, you find relevant information, then use that information to find more information. It's an iterative process, and you improve with experience. When you started this class, you probably relied primarily on keyword searching, which depends on finding the right synonyms. While keyword searching is a basic tool, there are other types of searching that can be effective in finding answers. One of these is subject headings and descriptors, which categorize like terms to find similar information. For scholarly research, citation searching provides additional capabilities, allowing forward citation and sideways related record searching, in addition to data mining bibliographies. For web search engines, advanced search provides the tools you learned on the professional search engines. You don't need to use all of these approaches to answer a particular inquiry, but they can be invaluable depending on the type of search that you are doing. But first, you need to define the problem. Defining the question is more complicated than appears on the surface. Most of the time, the actual question is not the initial question that is asked. There is an art to the reference interview, which is the core of Info 210, Reference and Information Services. It involves understanding the vocabulary of the user posing the question, then translating that into sources and the search language. Exercises in this class were quite limited in scope. In the real world, it can take several iterations to determine, is this the information you are looking for? It takes experience to know what questions to ask. In this class, you've learned the skills to be a professional searcher. The actual job title might be something like reference librarian if you work in a traditional library. However, in other information environments, the job title could be analyst or researcher or something else. Regardless of title, your role is finding information for someone else. There are other roles, however, in which you can apply your search skills. An academic librarian often spends significant time teaching search skills to students and faculty so they can do independent research. All of those wonderful electronic databases you've been using all semester, these can be 6-figure or even 7-figure budgets. Someone is responsible for negotiating the licenses, and that's the job of the Digital Resources Manager, who may or may not have a librarian title. This semester we've had great trainers present webinars on their products, and this is another opportunity. These companies hire information professionals as trainers, customer service representatives, product developers, and salespeople. Search engines such as Google and Yahoo don't have these types of positions, but they do hire information professionals to develop the user interface and even the help pages, both of which could be considered product development. For those of you who are technically inclined, there is an additional world of enterprise search software for both customer-facing websites and internal databases. This software has to be configured to meet the needs of the organization, and information professionals have the skills to collaborate with the more technical development team to successfully implement these systems. When you start looking for jobs, look beyond traditional libraries and librarian titles. There are many, many opportunities for information professionals in other areas. Now it's time to do your final project and wrap up the semester. I've enjoyed teaching you this semester and hope you have found the class beneficial for both other classes in the program and your other life. Keep working on those search skills.